Hey, good morning, everybody, from a cold and wet Milwaukee on this Wednesday morning. You're not going to get a very energetic John this morning because this this scope's going to be a little bit difficult for me to do today. Good morning, Justin. Good to see you in here. My inspirations come from a lot of different areas, and this one came from a phone call that was very difficult to receive this morning. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Day 15, love your children. If you're a parent, this should be an automatic and non-negotiable, but I'm having a hard time with this one right now. I've been thinking about this for the last hour, what I was going to say. As a parent, you should never be in a situation where, you have to say goodbye or hold a funeral or bury your children. And no, I'm not doing it myself. Let me just put that out there right away. Nothing happened to any of my children, but we received a phone call this morning that my sister-in-law's niece's son, so basically a cousin 3 or 4 times removed, passed away last night. He turned 13 not that long ago. Actually just saw him over the weekend, just out of the blue. They don't know what happened. They're waiting for notification from the medical examiner of what happened, but it really hit me this morning that we don't know how much time we have here. We don't know how much time we have with our family. We don't know what is going to end up happening. Any loss, any death of a child is tragic, and we need to make the most of every moment we have with them. And some days it's difficult. I know I get frustrated with my kids when they do certain things, or when they don't listen, or when they're arguing with their siblings. But you have to realize that you don't know when that last moment with your kids is going to be. You don't know when that last thing that you are going to say to them is, and you don't want to live with regret. If God forbid something does happen to your children, whether it's a young child or if you're older and it's an adult child, you don't want to live with that regret. So I'm challenging everybody out there. If you have kids, if you have nieces and nephews, grandkids, whatever the case may be, love on them, show them as much love as they can, no matter what they are going through, no matter, who they are, how they act. You've got to show love on them, because you don't know when that last opportunity to do that is going to be. I've been sitting here for the last little over an hour since we got the news. I don't know how this young boy's parents are dealing with it. I don't know how I would deal with something like this happening. And it's a difficult situation, especially since I just saw this family over the weekend, and I saw their son, and he was happy, he was having fun. They posted pictures yesterday of a field trip he was at. And just out of the blue, he wasn't feeling well. He went to go lie down, and an hour later, his parents found that he had died. I just, it really puts things into perspective for you. He was 13. He turned 13 not that long ago. So, it's a difficult situation. So, again, no matter where you are in life, if you have kids, please just take time to give them a hug. Take time to say I love you to them. Make sure that you spend quality time with them. It doesn't mean taking them out to dinners and going on big vacations and other things. Just sit down with them and ask them how their day was. If you're distracted with other things, which I tend to be a lot of, set those things aside for a couple of minutes and just sit and talk with your kids, because I've seen way too many situations where you don't know when we never know. None of us know when that last moment is going to be. And you don't want to live with regret for the rest of your life. It reminds me of the movie Courageous. There was a scene early on in the movie where one of the main characters, he's a sheriff's deputy, and he kind of blows his younger daughter off. She wanted to dance with him because she was getting ready for a recital, and he was so focused on work and everything, he kind of blew it off. And she, I think it was the next day, died in a tragic car accident. And the father, he couldn't deal with it. He had a difficult time with it. And, I can relate to that in a way, putting myself into that same situation. What would I do? How would I feel about it? So, yeah, I know I'm not my normal energetic self today. This is really getting to me. Having 5 kids of my own, another one on the way. Our family's been hearing stories of, of other families that have been struggling and having problems with their kids. One of our friends at church, her sister went into early labor at 23 weeks and, lost her preemie baby that was, after an hour, that was only 1 pound when it was born. So, I'm struggling today. I'm going to try getting out of this and get positive and get focused a little bit later. But, right now I'm just, I'm appreciating my kids. And, if you don't have kids of your own, if you have nieces and nephews, if you have friends that you are close with that have kids, show them love too. There's a handful of kids that, our kids are friends with that are like family to us. And, if I could hug them, if I could tell them I love them right now, I would. At some point in time in the next couple of days, I will, just to make sure that they know too. But, yeah, I'm going to try coming back on a little later. Hopefully, like I said, after I get a little breakfast, a little coffee into me, and focus a little bit on God's word this morning, I can be a little bit more positive and have a little bit more fun later. But right now that's it for the 75-day challenge. I think I got the day number right because we had a couple of days where it was point this and point that, and I realized, wow, I'm a little off kilter. So I think day 15 is correct here. 1/5 of the way through. Hopefully you folks have been following through with the challenges I've put out there. I am going to do a follow-up later today on the challenge from a couple of days ago where we talked about strengths and weaknesses and focusing on your strengths and weaknesses and your top 3 and bottom 3 list. Would hope to hear from a few of you on what those top 3s and bottom 3s are. So, all right, have a good morning, everybody. Again, if you're fortunate enough and your kids have not left for school yet, give them an extra big hug this morning. Make sure you tell them sincerely that you love them. And do that with your spouse too. Definitely do that with your spouse too, because I know a lot of times, as husbands, we don't do that enough for our wives. So just, give them an extra big hug. Tell them that you love